30 seconds and counting.
All right, how's it going, everybody? The Houston Rockets have just wrapped up a 146 to 143 overtime win over the Charlotte Hornets. This was by far the highest scoring game that the Rockets have had in a long time, probably since the James Harden era. The whole offense clicking today. Christian Wood scoring a career-high 33 points, along with 16 rebounds and 3 assists. Shot it 68% from the field, 66% from three, 71% from the line. Made a couple of clutch free throws in the fourth quarter as well. Kevin Porter Jr. had a double-double with 23 points and 12 assists. Also had 8 boards. Made 3 threes tonight. Had 4 turnovers. Garrison Matthews continues his good stretch with the Rockets with 20 points, 5 for 9 from beyond the arc, and another clutch 3 in the fourth quarter. Very similar to the one they had in the game against the Bulls. Eric Gordon continuing his rock-solid play for us with 22 points and 7 assists. Also had 4 threes on the night. Tate, good night, 16 points and 5 assists. And Armani Brooks also with 15 points off the bench. This whole game was a more of a balanced team effort rather than one player really shining. And that's what you really want to see. You want to see the whole team contributing. Even the other guys off the bench had little contributions here and there. And just an all-around really balanced team win. And the whole team just had good things to say about it, from the head coach to Kevin Porter Jr. and the rest of them.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that now we could say the Rockets are on a 2-game winning streak. And the fact that we beat teams like the Hornets and the Bulls, who are both the 5th and 2nd best teams in the East, respectively, that really says a lot about our team and how they're bouncing back from adversity. And so the Rockets, before those 2 wins, we were 1 of 16. When we were 1 of 16, we were shooting 30.9%, which is 28th worst, 28th out of 30th in the league. But now in these past 2 wins, we've shot 47.1% from the 3. So that might not be as sustainable going into the future, but it's a good sight to see that we're improving in that area. So let's talk about Christian Wood. Obviously, the probably a great night for him, getting a career high in 33 points. And this is what Steven Silas said on Christian Wood. He said him rolling to the paint is one of the advantages that he will have when he's out there at the 5. He will catch in the paint more because he's rolling harder, and there's a little bit more room out there. And that little bit more room out there could be referring to us getting more spacing in Garrison Matthews. And really, Christian Wood has been more aggressive this game, really driving to the paint, really asserting his dominance against multiple defenders. He was dunking on guys, and it's really evident to see his chemistry with KPJ. They had a couple of alley-oops and connections there too. And Wood said in a post-game press conference that Stevens is really pretty slept on, and that's pretty true. I mean, he had a really clutch block on LaMelo Ball, and so all around, Christian Wood probably easily one of the best games of the season. And the Rockets overall, they hit a season high of 23 3-pointers tonight, so that's a really good sign to see as well.
And continuing on with that, Kevin Porter Jr. has also continued to establish that chemistry with Christian Wood. Like you said, a lot of really, really nifty passes from Kevin Porter Jr. Just with Christian Wood and with the other guys for those first 3 quarters. And even for the majority of the fourth quarter, Kevin Porter Jr. was making really good reads, scoring really smartly as far as his shot selection. Went really, really good. He was attacking the basket. He was shooting the mid-range. But then towards the end of the game and into that overtime period, then the shot selection and just his all-around game management kind of went a little bit haywire. And he was forcing shots in transition, just forcing the issue in general through an ill-directed lob pass in the direction of Tate, which resulted in a turnover. He was rushing to the basket with about 13 seconds with a 1-point lead in the fourth quarter, which resulted in the Hornets getting the ball back with about 13 seconds to play. They tied the game up. We weren't able to get a game winner, and then we all know what happened after that, overtime, so on and so forth. That game management is something that I really like to see KPJ improve upon, especially if he wants to be the point guard of the future. He's really going to have to improve upon the game management. I don't think this game was a very good display of that. But again, plenty of time to grow. plenty of opportunities to grow for Kevin Porter Jr. And they're certainly going to be in more situations like this if they keep playing at this level. So I'm not super concerned with that. But again, that is something that Kevin Porter Jr. is going to have to work on. Defensively, LaMelo did get the better of him on the defensive side of the ball without a doubt. LaMelo, even though he didn't have the most attractive box score, only had 19. Actually, I can't even say that. He had his first triple-double, or second triple-double of the season, third of his career, but only 19 points. Even then, Kevin Porter Jr. was definitely not, in a favorable matchup on the defensive side of the ball, and LaMelo definitely took advantage of that. That is something that I would like to see improvement upon. But Garrison Matthews, let's talk about him for a little bit. He has now, for his second game with the Rockets, he's now had another really, really good game shooting the basketball. And I think he's been exactly what this team has needed after that long losing streak. He's been really a revelation for us.
Yeah, Garrison Matthews, I did not expect him to get the start this game, but seeing like the rest of the players who were starting, it made a lot of sense, and he did his role. And this is what Steven Silas said about Garrison Matthews. He said, when you call up a two-way guy, you usually don't expect him to make the main playing group, but he's earned it. And based on what they saw in his play in the Bulls game, they decided to give him the green light to play as a starter this game, and he really stepped up, as you saw, getting 20 points, shooting 5 of 9 from 3-point, and it's just been absolutely amazing. And so great job by him, like really being really consistent from 3. And I hope to see he actually becomes like an official player on this team. And Kevin Porter Jr. also credited like the ball movement and spacing towards Houston improvement. So we could probably like say that Garrison Matthews is a pretty big factor in why we won some of these games, and hopefully he becomes a real key piece in the future. And also he's been good in the clutch situations. He made like back-to-back clutch threes, so he seems to be like the go-to option for clutch shooting. And he's also pretty good on defense too. So overall, Garrison Matthews, another great find from Rafael Stone, sorry. And he was undrafted and he was on the Wizards, and so I don't know how the Wizards cut such a talent in Garrison Matthews, but I'm glad we got him. So hats off to Stone for finding Garrison Matthews.
Yeah, and with Garrison Matthews, he is currently on a two-way contract. So unless we convert him to a standard contract, which given his play so far in these past couple games, if he can keep up even like half of that, I think he's going to be well on his way to getting converted to a standard contract. It's really an amazing pickup. Again, like Anish said, it's kind of surprising how the Wizards let Garrison Matthews go. Maybe because of the Westbrook trade and all the players that they got back for that, maybe they had to let him go. But again, I feel like there are worse players than Garrison Matthews on that Wizards roster right now, so it really is a bit of a head scratcher as far as why they let Matthews go. But again, it's great that we have him right now, and he's been exactly what this team has needed. Just some quick rapid-fire points before we wrap this video up. The Rockets' defense's rebounding was very, very concerning. A lot of offensive rebounds given up to the Charlotte Hornets, who aren't even that much of a interior presence. They're missing their starting center, Mason Plumlee. PJ Washington starting in his place, who naturally plays the power forward position, certainly doesn't have the size of a center. And so the fact that we're giving up offensive boards at that clip to him, to Kelly Oubre, to Terry Rozier, to LaMelo Ball, to all of these guys, is not a good sign, especially when we have guys who have the size and the physicality and the height to grab those rebounds. We're not the biggest team, but I don't think that there's a reason for us to be giving up that many offensive boards to Charlotte. Armani Brooks with another quietly solid game with 15 points off the bench. He has had the ultimate green light. He's had zero hesitation in his shot, and it's been amazing to see. I think this game really shows that you need to be patient with a guy like Steven Silas. There's not much that he's working with here on this roster, and I think now we're seeing that once the roster can start to click, Steven Silas and the system can really get to work, and now it's starting to look a lot better. Both the rotations, they're all starting to look a little bit smarter. Now Tice isn't getting minutes, Nwaba isn't getting minutes. That's been good to see. The young guys are getting a little bit more minutes. Kevin Porter Jr. staying on the floor more. Wood is getting the front court to himself, and that's all been very, very good to see. And the one center lineup, kind of following into the one center lineup with Christian Wood at the 5, has definitely been more effective. These last 2 games with Wood at the center, I think has really unlocked Christian Wood, and I think this is the performances that we were expecting. With Daniel Theis sharing the front court with Wood, Wood was not really that effective at all. With Theis out of the picture now, I think it's been very, very good to see the improvement that Christian Wood has had. And that will pretty much wrap it up. Again, we'll have a little bit more in detail about this one center lineup and how that works in a separate video. But that wraps it up for this post game. Again, let us know in the comment section your thoughts on this game, and we'll talk about it there. As always, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. I'm Joel, and I'm joined today by Anish. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.